I definitely want to start off just asking you to introduce yourself, and then we'll get into how DrupalCon has been.
Sure. I'm Aiden Dunn. Just been doing a little freelance work here with the DropTimes, covering DrupalCon from Philadelphia. I was a student at the University of Pittsburgh, and yeah, got to see a lot of people come to the city. So
nice, cool. So as a recent graduate or someone who is looking at this from a student's perspective, how's the experience been for you?
Fascinating. Seeing all these people who are so passionate about something that I really knew nothing about, and that I think I don't have a huge background in technology in general, and particularly software coding, software development, and open source in particular. And I think that seeing the way that this community interacts and how passionate they are and how many different facets of it there is, beyond just product development, but also the why of why people choose open source, why people choose Drupal, and why people choose to build their lives around it. I think it was very interesting to see something that you just didn't really know existed.
Nice.
To see how it does exist, in a very real way.
Cool. So you mentioned you were exposed to a lot of things that were new for you, technology, open source, Drupal specifically. For other people who are just getting into it, what are your impressions of the community given these past 3 days? And what would you say to other people who are considering attending in the future or getting involved with the DropTimes as someone who's going to create content and help promote what we're doing in Drupal?
Everyone was personable and friendly. A lot of people didn't want to be on camera for interviews, but that's all right. But they were having fun. There was an air of fun in the conference, and you walk around and you hear people just having conversations with one another, rejoicing, seeing each other when they haven't seen each other for a long time. So for someone coming in, whether you have a background in Drupal and open source, if you do have that background, then you're in a great spot. You're in a place where you can bond with other like-minded individuals, but people who differ in other ways. You've got the base interests that you can bond with, but there's all kinds of people from all over the world here, and these conferences are all over the world. And if you're not from a background of Drupal, you are just still in a community with beliefs, and focus on that, and focus on the human interests parts of it. And we did this DrupalCon, and there was presentations all throughout the day for 2.5 days straight. And there's the technical side of it that you can dive into, and there's a significant learning curve. And then there's a number of other facets, just like anything else. And I think just keep your nose out, and as you dive into this universe, figure out what it is that you're really interested in, because it's there.
Nice. And so as a journalist and someone who's looking at being involved with the DropTimes, what are some of the key takeaways from being here? And I definitely want to understand your suggestions for the Drupal community in terms of what we can do better in the future, how we can get the word out about the awesome work that you can clearly see is happening.
I think that something that you actually helped me see as to why I'm doing this is, I think really having people who can bridge that gap between the technical of Drupal and the non-technical. So, in terms of expanding the community, really being able to just explain the why of why people do this, because you get into this arena because you're interested in tech development and in computers, and you can see the eminent change that it is going to have and already has had on our world. But when you choose Drupal and you choose to build a life around it, it seems like people do that out of values and out of community. So I think for building that community, just showing what you're all about and whether that's through writing, through videos like this, through online conversations that really expand out from the self-containedness, that could really help grow it. I know that Dries, who was the community's leader and creator of Drupal, he talked about the reversal of the web, and how what is now a pull where you go onto the internet, and if I was interested in open source technology, I would have to go to the internet and pull the information out. I would have to search that, review websites, and find it. His belief is that in the future, the web and the economy in general will become more of a push economy, so that that information makes itself present to you. So I think that finding ways to push Drupal and make it available to people who maybe don't know that this community could be just what they're looking for, could really help to grow it.
Nice. That's pretty inspiring that you can use your experience here to kind of look into the future in different ways. Do you have any tips for volunteers or people who may want to contribute content through the DropTimes in the future that you'd share? Tips or pointers maybe that you'd want to leave with people?
Questions. I mean, try to spark conversation, particularly digital conversations, not about digital. I mean, that's inherent in a lot of it, but again, ask questions within these digital spaces where people can chime in their opinions, and someone can come along and they can read through and see. You just want to cause interactions and show that this community is alive. And I think the visual is always very interesting. And again, I think a big thing with tech is there could be a really big learning curve, and that could be like anything. But if someone has this idea of what coding is and web development, it can seem so foreign that they don't even want to dip their toe in to really understand what it's about. But even though I haven't sat down at a computer and done coding, and I don't understand the guts of it now, there's a lot about this community that I can understand and see the basic human value and societal value in. So I think creating content that shows that is valuable for everyone, from those who are extremely tech-minded and interested in it, and those who aren't, because it is a community that touches a lot of our digital reality, whether you know it or not.
Nice. That's awesome, Aiden. Thanks so much.
Cool. Thank you.